hello, and welcome to Break the Cycle, episode 9. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for week 5. Wow, this thing is moving quickly. As you can see behind me, we have finally gotten the Break the Cycle neon light that was ordered several weeks ago because of the Neon Light Club that was wonderful enough to donate on my birthday. It looks great. It makes the shot look a lot cooler. I'm very, very happy with it, and I really, really appreciate you guys. Let's move on to some sponsors. Start with Lorenzotti.coffee. As you guys know, this is wonderful, delicious Italian coffee delivered directly to your door. Bring the taste of Italy home. It's amazing stuff. We have it at the house. We are addicted to it. We'll be ordering probably 3 new cans very shortly, and hopefully it gets here fast because we love it. We don't know how we're going to deal without it. TopLobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend for all of your wonderful graphic tees, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, graphics for your show, graphics for whatever you need them for. Hit this man up. He's amazing. He does great work. That's how I got this great Getting High on Liberty Ron Paul shirt. And, of course, Anthem Planning, our new sponsor and executive producer. They're amazing. Go to anthemplanning.com. They are helping with all of your emergency crisis management and planning for your business, for yourself, whatever it is that you need. They're doing a job that the government would love to take from you for a much higher cost. So hit them up and use them every chance you get. As you can see today, I have a special guest next to me. This is my mother. If you guys have been, you can say hi, go ahead.
Hi.
If you guys have been following the show for a while and rolling around in our autism chat during the live feed, you've probably seen my mother in there trying to keep up with the Tower Gang. Well, she came to visit. Her and my grandma and my sister have all come to visit and hang out. And so I figured, why not have her on the show? And since she's here on the show, why not try to red pill her during the show? I thought that'd be a great idea for a show, a Wednesday night show. Oh my goodness. I have one thing after another. So with that, Mom, how are you?
I'm good. I thought there'd be more of a script, but I'm good.
She thought there'd be a script. Can you believe it? I do script out some of my shows, but why would I try to red pill my mother with a script? That's a terrible idea.
Well, and also, I'm more of a libertarian than a libertarian, so I'm not exactly sure what red pilling is, but I know you're not going to kill me, so I can do this.
Definitely not going to kill you, Mom. I love you to death. So, we'll start with the cathedral. Have you ever heard the term the cathedral?
I have heard the term the cathedral because I have been watching your shows.
Sure.
And I feel like that's some group of people that libertarians are not overly fond of, or are not overly fond of libertarians.
Sure. Okay, so the cathedral, as stated by Curtis Yarvin, who has written extensively about the cathedral, is the holy union between the mainstream media, academia, so especially colleges, high schools, public education, and the government. And what they do is they work together to push a political narrative in this country. They work together. And Curtis, the way that Curtis talks about it, he doesn't include some things that maybe some other libertarians include. Like myself, I include big tech into this. You know, the social media platforms, deplatforming, dissenting voices and ideologies that they don't like. How do you feel about so do you believe that the cathedral is a real thing? Do you believe that these entities work together to try and stifle and silence voices that they think go against the approved narrative?
I absolutely do.
That's a great start. We're on our way to the red pill already. I love it.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So how do we feel about the mainstream media? Okay, so you have Fox News and CNN News, right? One side obviously pushes a certain political agenda. The other side obviously pushes a certain political agenda. They serve to divide this country needlessly, constantly on issues. I mean, they create wedge issues and then force them into the narrative all the time. How do you feel about the mainstream media, Mom?
I do not like the mainstream media. I feel like they don't report what's happening in the world. They report what they want to report to try and control you. Other than the weather, I no longer watch the mainstream media at all.
It's getting real good, Mom. It's getting really good.
I
Okay.
try to be a good mom.
Okay. So let's dive into some libertarian issues. War is probably one of the biggest issues for the loudest and proudest and most unapologetic libertarians. We understand that 30% of our national budget goes to continuously bomb brown people overseas to protect poppy fields and to take over oil fields and really bad stuff. I mean, these wars have been going on my entire life in the Middle East, and they've served no benefit other than to bolster the military-industrial complex, which is, a lot of the contractors like Raytheon and Boeing and stuff like that in this country. How do you feel about war, Mom? Do you think that we should continue these wars in the Middle East? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's beneficial to the individual in the United States that we continue to fight wars in the Middle East?
I do not. To me, war is only a last resort for something, not to prevent something that we think might happen that we might not like at some point. War should be only a means of saving lives, not taking lives, and I don't feel like we've had a war that's been about saving lives in a very, very long time.
Not certainly in my lifetime, that's for sure.
Maybe not in my lifetime either.
Yeah.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, she had her last birthday like 20 years ago, and that's it. She stayed the same ever since. So, you know that your son went and fought a war with the USS Constellation and stuff like that, and I was able to see it firsthand. But it's really nice to know that your mother doesn't support war. Let me tell you, that's a good thing to hear.
Were you scared?
I was getting worried about it for a minute. I was like, uh-oh, I don't know about how this question's gonna go. It could get kind of dicey. What about? Let's see. Okay. How do you feel? Okay, do you understand the Federal Reserve in this country and what they do?
Kind of.
Kind of.
I know that the Federal Reserve supposedly is the worth of money or the value of money, and I know that there's not nearly whatever's in the Federal Reserve that supports all the money that we make or that is printed.
Printed. They print
So,
the money.
I slightly understand.
Right. So the Federal Reserve continuously prints money, devaluing the the purchasing power of our dollar in this country. They're also the ones who set interest rates in the country as well. They're said to be not a government agency, although they do answer to the government.
I disagree.
Yeah.
They're definitely a government agency.
I agree, and most people would also agree with you as well. The Federal Reserve is out of control, has been out of control for a long time, has no oversight, no auditing whatsoever by our federal government, and continuously, as I said, prints money and devalues our purchasing power, the purchasing power of the dollar. Abolish the Federal Reserve. That would, at minimum, take us back to the gold standard. At maximum, get rid of the fiat dollar and put us on whatever monetary system we come up with as individuals in this country. How do you feel about that, Mom?
On that one, I may have to say that I am not knowledgeable enough to say definitively, but I feel like you've researched the issue a lot more than I have. So it's going to make a better way of life for people. Abolish the Fed.
Yes, that is my mother saying abolish the Federal Reserve. That's a good thing. I like it. I enjoy it.
I'm going to be on the list now.
Yeah,
huh?
you're on the list now. We're all on the list together. Don't worry, it's fine. We're gonna have one hell of a lit gulag party. So, okay, next one. Drugs. Drugs are bad. Some drugs are cool, I guess, for some people. Do you think that people who are arrested for drugs with no victims, no crimes committed other than owning drugs or buying drugs or doing drugs should go to violent rape cages for long extended periods of time when they have made no victims with their so-called crimes?
No, if a crime doesn't hurt somebody or try and take somebody's property, I don't see the sense in it being a law. There's people that deserve to be in jail for doing heinous things, and people that have gotten caught with a dime bag of marijuana, should not be in jail. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I wanted you to do, though.
Okay.
I wanted you to answer my question.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit harder.
Oh gosh.
Public schooling. Okay, now you and I both are products of public school. We're not dumb people. We're somewhat intelligent. At least you are.
We're not as smart as your sister.
My sister is probably the smartest person in my entire family. She's also a product of public education. But the problem with public education is that it's owned by the government. They have the opportunity to push a narrative to your children. We call it the public school to prison pipeline. Many people are not given the opportunity or the option to send their kids to any other type of school. They take taxes from us, even if we decide to homeschool for these public schools, which we're not using. How do you feel about school choice? Would you, if you had the opportunity and there were other options for people, would you say that parents should be allowed to send their kids to whatever school they want to send their kids to, period? Or do you think that the government needs to control our children and tell them what schools they have to go to?
No, I think that schooling should 100% be the choice of the parent. I would wish and hope that all parents would be sure their children get some kind of schooling, and there should be something that for parents that really have no idea to school their children. But I know there's charter schools and private schools, and I couldn't afford a private school for you guys. But had there been a charter school, maybe with smaller classrooms, better able to discipline the unruly child, yeah, I don't think public school should be the only option, and I don't know why the government's involved in the choices we make in schooling our children.
Why is the government involved in any of the choices we make, period, is probably the best question. But, okay, moving on. Taxes.
I hate taxes.
Yes, that's my mother. She hates taxes. So taxes are the price we pay. Okay, finish this sentence. Oh, taxes are the price we pay to live in a blank.
Supposed to be free.
No.
Civilized?
So normies like to say taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilized society. Unfortunately, I don't think our society is very civilized. I think that, our tax money is used to constantly bomb brown children overseas and lock people in violent rape cages and tell parents which schools they have to send their children to. And so taxes at the end of the day, so the federal income tax was not instituted until I think 1913 or 1918, sometime around World War I, with the institution of the Federal Reserve, if you can believe that. And prior to that date, we still had fire departments and roads and police and all this stuff, right? Would you be amenable to abolishing the federal income tax?
I would love to abolish the federal income tax.
This is where I came from, guys. This lovertarian here, who's not really a libertarian, just a lovertarian, but she would abolish the federal income tax, the Federal Reserve, wars, drug convictions. Starting to sound like a real libertarian here, Ma. I don't know. That red pill's coming really fast. What else?
You guys just sometimes seem angry, and I'm just not very angry. Hence, lovertarian.
Logical is what you meant to say. Not angry. Logical. We like to tell people the way it is, and sometimes I think that's kind of like our downfall, is that we do a whole lot of talking and not a whole lot of listening.
You're passionate.
Yeah, passionate.
You're passionate.
Passionate about the issues, for sure. So we do have some issues where we get a little angry about them sometimes, and it's probably not for the best. Probably there's a better way to speak to people. Some people are just, you can't get through to them no matter what. And so those people should be mocked relentlessly and shoved back into their digital lockers. And that's okay. Let's see, what other issues can we talk about? Libertarian issues. Am I missing any of the big ones here? Oh, the lockdowns. How do you feel about lockdowns?
Oh, my God.
You guys, so my mom lives in Oregon, where they're actually thinking about instituting a permanent mask mandate. Permanent. Forever. How do you feel about these lockdowns? And do you think, to me, the lockdowns are economic terrorism? I mean, 100%, plain and simple. They got people living on a UBI and shutting their businesses. They got kids that can't see other people's faces. It's stunning behavioral growth. It's stunning emotional growth. How do you feel about the lockdowns during the COVID pandemic, Ma?
Well, I think first of all, I'm a grown-ass woman, and I'm pretty smart, and I'm pretty logical, and immediately everything was intended to scare the crap out of me. It was intended to make me afraid to leave my house, and if I was going to leave my house, I had to mask my face and pretend that I was a robotic unit looking like everybody else out in society. And then when the emotional part of me took over, I thought, who are they to say I have to stay in my house? If people are scared, by all means stay in your house because you're free. And if you want to stay in your house and be scared, stay in your house and be scared. But because we're all free, I should not be told I have to stay in my house. And I should not be told I have to wear a mask on my face, because I feel like they're trying to steal all of our identities and make us into little governmental robots that do nothing but mind what they say.
Oh, that's beautiful, Mom.
Thank you, son.
You're doing a great job.
Thank
here.
you, son.
I'm very proud of you. I did not, for the record, I did not tell my mom what I was going to talk about. I just said that we're going to try and red pill you on Break the Cycle tonight. That was the whole goal.
And I wondered I don't even know what red pill is, so I knew you'd ask me questions.
Well, we could talk about the difference between the red pill and blue pill right now. So the term actually came from the movie The Matrix, where he's like, you can take the red pill now.
Okay.
You can take the blue pill now and plug back into the Matrix and forget any of this ever happened.
Keanu.
Right. Keanu Reeves. Yeah, correct. That's what my mom calls Keanu. Or you could take the red pill and life will forever be different. And so for red pill libertarians, we understand that the media is lying to us. We understand that the national approved narrative may not always be the actual instance. We understand that the government harms people instead of helping people. That's what the red pill means. That's the difference between the red pill. Blue pill just believes everything they're force fed on mainstream media, goes along with the national approved narrative, believes in the lockdowns, believes that they were needed to curb the pandemic, even though it's showing, like in places like Florida and North Dakota, that it really didn't have an effect on the growth of cases or the amount of deaths. The blue pills believe that the PCR test being up to 40 cycles and giving a bunch of false positives didn't really happen, even though the CDC has already admitted to it. The blue pills believe all the stuff they're force fed on the media, basically. And so that's the big difference. But there are two other pills now.
I did hear you say you're a gray pill, and I'll say I'm more of a eat the mushroom kind of girl.
Oh, sure. My mom doesn't take mushrooms, in case anybody
I don't.
She doesn't. I know she might, maybe in her younger days she might have, but yeah, a little bit. So now there's this black pill and the white pill, right? The white pill is described as you still having some hope and optimism to change, this crazy cult-like behavior that started in this country, especially during the pandemic, but it's been going on for years with the social justice warrior left, and how if what you're talking about is not approved, you're deplatformed, you're mocked, you're all this stuff. And then the black pill is you have given up all hope completely, 100% on society, and believe that the only way forward is for you to focus on yourself. And becoming basically an agorist, trying to opt out of the system. And would you say that you're white pilled or black pilled, Mom?
I'm definitely not black pilled, because that's completely against my nature. I'm a never give up hope kind of human being. I don't know that I'm white pilled because I'm old, and I like my small little world, and give my son up to battle the big battles in the world. Freedom and equality for all. I'd say I'm light gray. I'd say I'm light gray, closer to white, because I'll never be the black pill. I always have hope.
Sure. Let's talk about that word equality.
Okay.
Well,
freedom. I mean freedom.
Sure. You said freedom and equality for all. Okay.
I did. I remember I'm a product of the 60s.
Right. So there's a word, egalitarianism, right? And that basically means equality of outcomes, right? Now, we know as libertarians that there is no such thing as equality of outcomes. Everybody's going to be different in all kinds of certain ways. We don't necessarily believe that's due to race or not always because of economic circumstances or familial circumstances, But no, there is no such thing as equality of outcome unless it's forced equality of outcome, which we've seen in states like North Korea, which we've seen in places like the Soviet Union, these communist countries that force an equality of outcome. So when we say equality, we mean equality under the law, right? So if the law is a thing, right? If the law has to exist, if these hundreds of millions of laws, that they be equally presented on everybody. So, somebody that gets busted with crack cocaine down in Oakland shouldn't get some insane sentence while, the 2 towns away in Walnut Creek, a kid that got busted with a bag of cocaine only gets 30 days or something, right? So the law should be applied equally across the board. So that's what we talk about when we say equality. Or one step further, equality of opportunity, right? We believe that everyone should be equally opportune to achieve the dreams and goals and financial goals that they have for themselves and their family. But that's not necessarily going to end up with the same outcome every time, especially in a libertarian society. So
you get what you put into it.
Sure. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Mom, you've watched me for years. I don't know how many times I had to start over. It was quite a few times.
Very many times.
But I pulled myself up by the bootstraps and I got to work and I did what I needed to do.
And who taught you that?
My mother. My mother, who worked 3 jobs as a single mom, raising 2 kids to make sure that we had a roof over our heads. My mom would get up sometimes at 4:30 in the morning, go to her first job, go to her second job on the way home, and then go deliver pizzas until 2 o'clock in the morning and get up and do it again the next day for years just to make sure that we had what we needed. So, where she is in life is a direct product of the hard work that she put in. Where her kids are in life are also a direct product of the hard work that she put in. But I'm thinking my mom's pretty badass and red-pilled, guys. What do you guys think?
You thought I was going to come on here and blue pill and you were going to have to convince me to be a red pill, huh?
I thought I was going to have to really work to red pill my mother, but I don't think so. I think my mom's already pretty based.
I've been thinking about it. When I was getting my hairs did before I came to visit you, I was talking to my hair girl and I told her that I think that I ran more along the very conservative lines. And I sat there and talked with her around things. And then, because I wanted to say that maybe I was against open borders. And then I totally just started talking about, but if we open our borders and the people come here and they're given the same opportunities everybody else is given to work or make it,
it stimulates the economy.
Yes. And if they work and they make it, then what's the harm? And if they work and they don't make it and go back from whence they came, what's the harm?
Right.
And I totally talked myself
my mom
into agreeing with open borders.
Red-pilled herself on immigration. That's pretty great.
Well, I was getting my hair did.
So the immigration debate is actually like a giant debate in the libertarian world, because there's those of us who believe that, there shouldn't be open borders and that, if you're going to come here that, you shouldn't be given free handouts. The welfare system needs to be completely disintegrated before we open the borders. And then there's those of us who believe that the borders should be open immediately. There should be no restraint to coming here, except maybe some, very, very small against, terrorists or known terrorists. But, who's a known terrorist these days to the government? I mean, our own people that are fed up with the way the country acts are terrorists now. So, but it is actually a very big divide in the libertarian and liberty movement in general. Is, some people believe that the border should be wide open. Some people believe that we should have an Ellis Island style immigration system. So, you don't really, there's good faith arguments, I think, on both sides of that. Same with the abortion debate in the Libertarian Party. There's good faith arguments. Obviously, I'm a pro-life guy. I've been pro-life for a long time.
I'm pro-life, but I would never take my feelings and make another person have to feel them.
Sure, and that's called legislating your morality. And so there's a big debate there. I think, obviously think it's murder, and a lot of people do. And but that's something that we can really work on after we get some more. We gain some ground in this country as far as liberty advocates go, because right now we just don't have enough to even make decisions like that. So what's the point in having the wedge issue that we just continuously fight over amongst ourselves and get no work done towards moving society into a more libertarian direction? But so
first the takeover?
Well, that's the party takeover. We got to get the party based first because the party is unbased, totally unbased, blue-pilled crap. And so the party, that's where I started several years ago, was trying to push the party in a more red-pilled direction where the party is actually unapologetically libertarian and pushing very hard for these real libertarian issues instead of beating around the bush, putting out weak-ass statements about lockdowns, putting out weak-ass statements about vaccine passports. We really need to do something bigger and be more bold. And so I think we're moving in the right direction, and the Mises Caucus is the one that's going to take us there. So I'm really excited. Before we start wrapping it up, because this is going to be a short episode, how do you feel about vaccine passports? Are you excited for a government to tell people that they have to have a vaccine if they want to travel?
No.
Yeah.
The government should not be able to tell us we have to be vaccinated against anything. That's our choice. If you want to get vaccinated, go get vaccinated. I don't want to be vaccinated at this point, so I'm not gonna.
Sure. Yeah, me neither.
And I don't feel like they have the right to tell somebody they have to do something to their body to get on an airplane.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about. If you would have told somebody 10 years ago that they were going to institute vaccine passports and not let you travel unless you got a very, very experimental vaccine that's been, had about 2 months of trials, people would have been like, "You're insane, man. You're a conspiracy theory. You're an insane
been watching
person."
The Matrix.
Yeah, and now we're actually living that.
Yep.
And we're losing ground every day, every single day. Well, Mom,
son,
I think you're pretty based.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's red-pilled. You're based. As based is the opposite of nerd, I think.
Well, I definitely have strong nerd overtones, but I like based.
But as far as the internet lingo goes, you're either based or you're a total nerd. And I think my mom's pretty based. What do you guys think? Maybe you could tell us in the comments how based my mom is. She did jump in on a tower once in the live chat for the show, so I thought that was pretty based. Mom is hashtag Tower Gang just a little bit. So, hey, Mom, where can people follow you at?
Facebook, Cheryl Ann Cox.
You can follow my mother, Cheryl Ann Cox, on Facebook. She likes new friends. You might have to get some, Lay's. What do you do? Lay's reviews when the new Lay's flavors comes out with my pop.
I think we're going to start a YouTube channel.
They're actually going to start a YouTube channel. You better follow my mom's YouTube channel. It's going to be the most based Lay's reviews you've ever heard of in your entire life. But anyways, Mama, I love you.
I love you, son.
Thank you so much for coming on Break the Cycle.
Hello, what's up in the chat? I know you're not there, but I do enjoy hanging out with you guys when he's doing his live shows.
Yeah, this is actually, we're recording this show ahead of time because I have some interesting things to do tonight that we'll talk about next week. We're going on a date and all that cool stuff. So,
not with me. I'm babysitting.
Yeah, she's babysitting and letting us go out on an actual date. We haven't had one, since way before October. It's been a long time. So, but anyways, I love you guys so much. Let's talk about these sponsors one more time. Lorenzotti.coffee. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount on Italian coffee delivered directly to your door. TopLobster.com, the best in graphic tees. Same thing, BTC at checkout gets you a 10% discount on some of the coolest gear on the internet. Anthem Planning for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. They're amazing. Go to anthemplanning.com. Check them out. Friday, we're going to have Maine State Senator Eric Brakey on the show. I'm a huge fan of this guy. If you watched his debate with Dave Smith on the utility of the Republican Party versus the Libertarian Party for the Liberty Movement, you know that he's amazing. He makes great points. I'm very excited to sit down and speak with him. It's going to be awesome. And coming up after that, we have great shows like Scott Horton, Spike Cohen, Michael Bolden, Phil Labonte, Patrick Smith, Monica Perez, Zuby, which is going to be so cool, JJ Boogie, who's amazing, Adam Kokesh, Kylie McGillicuddy, and Josh Cybulski. He's from the Great White North. He's one of them Canadians. He's a pretty cool guy. He's a good friend of mine. He wrote a really awesome book called Second Story Work that I am in the process of trying to read so that I can talk about it on the show with y'all. I don't get much reading time these days. But anyways, Mama, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody go follow my mother, or I will find you. I will hunt you down. And I don't know. I'll give you a wet willy. Until then, though.
Don't forget to break the cycle.
Don't forget to break the cycle. I love y'all.
To explain the merits of my life. seem to keep saying I'm finding color action, a verse in the frame, but I just can't hit Minecraft. The helicopter part was a reference to GTA 5 and the things you do, so when you buy